My name is Deeny Kaplan. I am Executive Vice President of the kitchen. The kitchen is going to be 15 years old this year. I'm also one of the owners, one of the co-owners of the company. It was started 15 years ago actually for the Cisneros television group out of Venezuela. Ken Lorber, who is our president and CEO, built it and staffed it and ran the place, and then it was taken over by another company called Claxon. Claxon had it for a couple years. Ken left, and a couple years later, Claxon came to Ken and said, "We're ready to sell the company," and Ken said, "I'll buy it back." So Ken bought it back. I joined him along with some of our other partners. And the rest is history. In the 15 years that we've been in existence, we've won 2 Emmy Awards, Primetime Emmy Awards, for creating our technology, our software technology. We're the only dubbing company in the world to ever have won not just 1, but 2 Emmy Awards. So it's a very exciting opportunity for us, and what we do here is we dub TV shows, movies, cartoons, telenovelas, to and from every language. You know, a lot of people ask us, why aren't we in California? Why aren't we in New York? Well, Miami, if you know anything about Miami, is a real melting pot of all languages. You go to any outdoor cafe and you hear at every table every kind of language. Brazilians have been coming here for years, not only coming to holiday and buy second homes, but coming to live, to see opportunities in Miami. And there is a tremendous Brazilian Portuguese population here. A lot of the Portuguese people that come to us are newscasters, actors, writers, directors, teachers, doctors, from every walk of life, and we train them. We have a dubbing workshop where we actually train them to become dubbing actors. We also have, when we work, we have to have only native speakers. So if you say to me, well, my parents were Portuguese and I went there every summer, that's not good enough. You have to be a native speaker. Our directors have to be native speakers. You can't be from the mountains where there's a different, accent, right? Thank you. You have to be a full-on Brazilian Portuguese speaker, whether you're a translator, whether you're the actor, the director, or the editor. So we have a tremendous population. And I think one of our biggest teams here is our Brazilian Portuguese team. In Miami, thank you for asking, in Miami, we do all languages to English, Brazilian Portuguese, neutral Spanish, and Parisian French. If you said to me I need to go into Polish or Russian or Danish or Italian, we have partners that we work with around the world. So what we would do there is we would do the translation here, get the dubbing script ready, send it over to Italy, or Russia, wherever it's going. They would cast it, they would do the dubbing over there, and then it typically would come back here, we'd mix it together and do a quality control, a QC check on it. We actually just came back from South Africa for one of the trade shows, one of the largest trade shows. It's called DISCOP, and it is in South Africa once a year. We've been going for the past 3 years. And we do a lot of Brazilian Portuguese for Africa. When they first started, they thought they wanted European Portuguese. And it was our job to basically let them know, no, you really want Brazilian Portuguese. It's now what it is. So for Africa, we do English, French, and Portuguese. No Spanish, but English, French, and Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese for Africa. A tremendous growing market. All of the networks and distribution companies and major companies from China and France and England were at this trade show that keeps growing every year because there is such a demand. And it is really for all 3 languages for the African market. Novellas obviously are one of the biggest programming areas for the African market, and pretty much around the world in every market today. A novella is typically 120 to 320 episodes. So once you get familiar with these characters, you really want to be part of that. And we've found that a lot of our clients do study groups where they will actually have a group of, let's say, African Portuguese speakers. And they'll have us do a test for them in a couple different deliveries. One may be very over the top, and another one may be very, just very timid. What we found is that they don't like the over the top, but they do like the escape. You're taking, when you see these elegant, beautiful people in a novella, which they always are, you're taking them to, you're allowing them to escape their day-to-day. And we found that they are enthralled with it. It's what they relate to. They all want to dress like the characters. And in terms of the language, the Brazilian Portuguese is what they all expect now for the telenovelas for the African market. You kind of have to work together and say, this is what your audience needs, because it's more neutral than if we went with the dialects from every country that speaks Portuguese. The same with French. We're not going to give you an African French accent. We're going to give you a Parisian French, a native, neutral French accent. The same with the Latin Spanish. When we do work in Latin Spanish, it's going to be neutral. It's not going to be a Colombian accent or a mountain village accent or a Mexican accent. It's going to be a neutral accent. So they accept what we're giving them as what the norm should be. I think we could not be happier. The talent that we have here in Miami, we have a very large, very deep talent pool for the Brazilian Portuguese market. Many of them are very experienced. Most of them are also singers and musicians, which I think is 100% adds to their performances, because the fact that they can sing, we do a lot of cartoons, so there's a lot of singing. The women can sing for 10-year-old boys or 10-year-old girls. The actors, we even have some actors, some Brazilian actors, which is unusual, but can do English, Spanish, and Portuguese without an accent in any one of those languages. There's only a handful of people that we have that can do that. Normally it's like, okay, you speak English, but you may have an accent. I speak English, but I may have a New York accent. You have to have a neutral accent. And that's part of what we found, is that the Brazilian teams here are very talented.